Oh my, and you all provided the music. Now hop to it. I've got so much to do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've got company and they're to make. There's just so much to do. Oh my. You young cubs, practice your handbells. Hop to it. Oh my, there's so much to do. I wasn't expecting you so soon. Well, welcome to the lion's den of Babylon. We sure are happy to have you. I just wasn't expecting you so soon. Let me tidy up my hair a little bit. Well, I'm Leola, the lioness, and these are the lion cubs. We're delighted to have you as our dinner guests tonight. Oh, now don't get nervous. We're having veggie pasta. I said practice. I have to constantly work at feeding the cubs a balanced diet. And that's not an easy thing when you work for King Darius. People keep dropping in for supper. Not that I'm complaining or anything. I love to eat flesh food. But we've had some very interesting dinner guests lately. I suppose that the most famous dinner guest we have had lately was a man named Daniel. Now, Daniel was one of the top 3 leaders of the kingdom of Persia. Darius, the king of Persia, trusted Daniel, and he planned to make him the very top leader next to himself, of course. And oh, when the leaders heard about that, they got a knot in their tail. They were green with jealousy, and they tried to find something bad to say about Daniel, and they couldn't find nothing. But then they remembered that Daniel faithfully prayed to God every day and gave thanks to him 3 times a day. Now, those evil leaders got together with some more bad folks, and they set a trap for Daniel. And they went to King Darius, and they said, King Darius, live forever! Now, am I telling this story, or are you? Practice! Well, those jealous leaders told the king that he was the greatest, and that King Darius liked that. And they said they ought to make a new law, and this new law said that everyone in the kingdom must pray to him, King Darius, for 30 days. And the king liked that better. Then they said if anyone broke the law, and by praying to another god, that they would be thrown into the lion's den. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. The jealous leaders played a trick on old Darius. Said, make it a law of the Medes and Persians so it cannot be broken. By this time, King Darius had such a big head that he signed the law right then and there. What a foolish, foolish man. When Daniel heard the news, he had a hard decision to make. Should he be politically correct and follow the king's law and live? Or should he follow God's law and get thrown into the den? Well, sometimes making the right decision can get us into trouble. But Daniel decided And the minute they saw him breaking the King Darius's new law, they hightailed it back to the king to tattle. Well, when King Darius heard the news, he was upset. And he was mad at himself for being tricked into making such a foolish law. He liked Daniel. He tried to think of a way to free Daniel, and he fought until his finger was plumb worn out. Then those evil leaders reminded the king that the law could not be changed. And King Darius had a choice to make. Would he follow the unchangeable law, or would he follow God's law? Now there's the problem. See, King Darius didn't know God like Daniel knew God. And so he chose to obey the foolish law. Now the police arrested Daniel and threw him in our den. The king peeked inside and said, "Your God, whom you constantly serve, will deliver you." Then they put a big flat rock all over the den. King Darius was so worried that he went back to his palace and he wouldn't eat or watch TV all night long.
But they didn't have TV then. Who's telling the story, Mom or you?
Yeah. When they put that rock over the door, I couldn't see the whiskers in front of my face. But we could smell it. He didn't smell like normal Babylonians, you see. He had more of a fruit and veggie fragrance. The cubs were hungry, and I heard them move towards Daniel in the dark. Well, then, all of a sudden, a bright light exploded in the den. An angel of God appeared between us and Daniel and said, "Dog kitties." And suddenly, we didn't feel hungry anymore. We had a party instead. Daniel had his dreidel, and the cubs gave him cutback rides. The time went by very fast, and then around 5:30 or 6 the next morning, we heard this awful banging out the door. We heard the king cry out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, are you okay? Has your God delivered you?" Then Daniel winked at us and said, "Oh, King Darius, my God sent his angel to shut the lion's mouth. And they have not hurt me at all, because I am innocent before God and you." Now, let me finish the story, young cubs. Now, talk about a happy camper. That King Darius was so glad that he had made a new law, and he said to all the people in his kingdom, "Hey, cubs, recite King Darius's new law for everybody."
Everybody in all my land, worship ye the God of Dan, for he's alive and lives forever. His kingdom be destroyed, no, never. He does signs in earth and heaven. He rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. Yes, 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 he did. Yes, 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 he did.
I'm just the sweetest little cubs. Well, we were awful sad to see Daniel go. Well, we enjoyed playing with our food, you see. And speaking of food, we were mighty hungry the next morning and next night. After all-night party, but King Darius made up for it. He sent down a whole mess of victuals and threw every last one of those evil leaders into our den. And we ate until we were stuffed. Just between you and me, I had indigestion afterwards. Too much rich food, you see, will do that to me. Now, cubs, are you ready to play your piece for our dinner game?
Yeah!
All right, then. Now, folks, relax and enjoy your little dinner music from the Lions Den in Babylon in honor of Daniel and our God. And remember, it may not be politically correct to obey God's law, and folks may give you some trouble for it. Don't you worry.